Welcome to this talk on tax deduction at source and service tax. India is a country which needs an immense amount of resources to be collected. Our economy is broken down 60+% coming by way of services, 20% coming from manufacturing, and 20% coming from agriculture. Now, very large thresholds have been laid down for making sure that you fall within the tax net. But when an interaction between two entities is taking place, it is impossible to judge upfront whether that person will be requiring to pay tax at the end of the year. So to make life simple, categories of income have been identified so that when any transaction involves that category of income, like for example the payment of a fee or the payment of a service charge or the payment of a commission or the payment of an amount for services which have been rendered. In such cases, there are prescribed percentages at which taxes must be deducted at source by the person who is making the payment. So that person becomes, in effect, a tax gatherer. That person is obligated to file an electronic form, upload the information about the person in whose name the tax has been deducted, and increasingly the final evidence of what has been deducted at source from anybody's income is being relied upon from this electronic database that the government of India has put together. This is a very recent and a very positive and welcome change that has happened in our tax regime. A whole string of incomes is now subjected to tax deduction at source. And the claiming of that tax deduction at source is being automated and will increasingly become smooth. There are a few quirks and a few tweaks that need to be made. For example, if there's a wrong deduction of tax at source, using of a wrong permanent account number, because somebody has made an error either of understanding whose income taxes should be deducted from, or because they have not fed in the number in the correct way when they are uploading. The process needs to be evolved to make sure that it goes into the right TAN number, to make sure that the credit is claimed by the person who actually had an income generated on which the tax has been deducted at source. This is going to be more extensive. In fact, almost every piece of income that you can potentially earn, whether it's professional income, business income, service fee, commission, whatever, will be subjected to deduction of tax at source. And therefore, all of us need to get involved in making sure that wherever taxes are due to be deducted, they are deducted, they are electronically transferred into the appropriate TAN accounts, and they are claimed by the person whose income is the subject matter of that deduction. Service tax. As I said, more than 60% of the Indian economy is dependent on services. And earlier, there was a situation where there was virtually very limited indirect tax on this activity. Actually, none whatsoever. And therefore, the service tax was actually brought into the statute book a few years ago. Now, what service tax does is it is an indirect tax on the activity of providing services. What will happen come 1st April 2016 is that all of these indirect taxes will be combined into the framework of the goods and services tax, which is called GST, a single omnibus tax, which through the entire value chain, economic value chain of the country, will create an ability to pull the transaction forward, give the offset at every stage that value is being created. So if I am providing a service to somebody who's going to have value add and sell it to a customer, then the service tax which I have paid will be offset by the next person in the chain and the next person until it reaches the consumer. So that the double tax on the cascading effect of the tax is avoided. That is what GST will do. It will also bring the entire value chain of economic activity in the country into the tax framework. And service tax will then become as ubiquitous a tax as excise is today, and as sales tax is today in the context of the state levies of tax. So once we have a well-functioning GST, the chances are that every bit of the economy will get reported, taxes will be paid in an honest way, and the administration will happen in a way that all of us can meet our obligations reasonably comfortably and make sure that the country also benefits from the taxes which are raised, and we receive back the value of those taxes by way of the public services that we as citizens of the country enjoy. That's the closed loop of TDS and service tax.